Alright everybody, the last of the vegetables here. I went ahead and pre-cooked the, we're going to make burritos again. So again, I'm using the last of the pepper stir fry. Got the peppers and onions, 3 different yellow, red, and green peppers, and then some white onions. Seems to be my favorite. And we got some tortillas, just do some eggs, and I'm going to throw some cheese in there. It's going to be really quick. I'm going to have just throw some black beans in here in the rice, stir that up. So let's get cooking. We're going to start off steaming the peppers and onions real quick. And I got the Cuban style black beans. It has a little bit of greens, peppers, and extra virgin olive oil and spices. So it has a little bit of spice in here instead of just using the plain black beans. Take a minute to heat up. While that's heating up, I'm going to go ahead and I got one of these new can openers. When I first got it, I didn't think it worked. Basically, it cuts without leaving an edge. Pretty cool. Yeah, I went around the can and nothing happened. I was like, what the heck? And then I set it back in the cupboard because I didn't think it worked. You got to grab a hold of the top. Grab a hold of the top of it, and it pulls the whole thing off. So I opened a can of tuna. I didn't think it worked. I set it back in the cupboard. Pulled it out and the top popped off. I thought it was a defective can. But once you realize how they work, I mean, these things are awesome. You don't have to worry about sharp edges or anything. So, all right, the beans are ready. So I put a little spice in the beans already, so I'll have to spice those up. I'm going to go ahead and pour the beans right into the rice. Should have a rubber spatula in here. Get all the juice out of there. Turn that down a little bit. Sometimes too, I like to throw in some tomatoes with the chilies already cut into it. And usually what I do is I try to strain off the juice because there's a lot of water in it. I'm going to go ahead and open these up. I'll drain off the juice and I'll throw those in with the peppers. And then that way I'll have my tomatoes in there. So nice that pops off. There's no edge, and then also too, this is not sharp either. So you know, like if you have a little one, you don't have to worry about them cutting themselves. So when my daughter comes over and helps me cook, I don't have to worry about that little aspect of it. Turn this down again. Strain off some of this water. Alright, I drained off some of the water, and then I'll just cook the rest out of it. But turn it up a little bit, because if you don't drain the water off and don't cook it down, it just makes your burritos too watery. So you don't want too much water in your burritos. So there's still some moisture in there, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it up. We'll cook off all that moisture, and then once that's done, we'll add some eggs to it. I'm not going to add any meat to it today. I'm just going to eat vegetarian. I'm sure there's probably some meat in the beans, there's some residual, so it's not like probably pure vegetarian. I'm sure there's some meat byproducts in here somewhere, but we're just going to do without adding the meat to it if we can help it today. So we got this all mixed up. So the beans and rice are ready, and I'm not going to mix them all the way up because I want most of the beans, so I'm going to leave the beans on top. Cook these tomatoes down a little bit, mix it in with the peppers and the onions. Like I said, you don't have to cook it too much. You don't want the vegetables just cooked down to nothing. But you do want to evaporate some of that water off, because you don't want your burrito to be pure, all mushy. So when you mix it in with your beans and stuff, there's just too much moisture there. So let that cook down a little bit. You see all the steam coming off of it. Give that a minute or two. Pretty much done. While we're doing that, I'm going to talk to you about this bag. I'm wondering why my tortillas are in a different bag. Well, I tried to open this bag, and I did everything I could, and it wouldn't open up. So it kept tearing and ripping. So finally, I opened it up, and then after I tore through the bag, it finally opened. So sometimes these are almost like impenetrable. It seems like when they seal it, I think the plastic melts, so I can't get into it. But anyway, you're thinking why I put those into a different bag. That's why. All right, I think we're done. All the water's gone. And I'm going to go ahead and just, you can cook your eggs separate, or you can just throw your eggs right into it. So probably depends on how you want to do it. I think I'm going to whip my eggs up, and then I'm gonna add the vegetables later. I'll add it to it as I'm cooking the eggs, but okay, I'm gonna go ahead and turn that down. Go ahead and throw some eggs in my bullet real quick. I'm going to do 4 eggs. 4 eggs every time. I'm using the Eggland's Best cage-free eggs. I went to the store, and that's all they had left was the expensive eggs, so I got those. Like I said before, sometimes when you're the last one to go shopping, all that's left is the healthy stuff. So if you want to be healthy, just shop late. Shop after everybody else does. You won't have no choice but to buy the wheat bread and the cage-free eggs and all that. So just make sure that seal's nice and tight. All right. Put that back on the heat. And like I said, I don't even clean out. I mean, everything goes the same spot. So we're just going to go ahead and use that same skillet. I'm going to rinse this out real quick. Shouldn't take long for that to cook up. Put it on high. If you want, you can add some spice to it. Usually I just use my bachelor spices or salt and pepper, garlic, and then steak seasoning, and pretty much all my stuff probably tastes the same, but just keep it simple. I love garlic, and it's mostly garlic and steak seasoning, salt and pepper. Just add a little bit to it, and eggs are already done, starting to get done. Just going to cook up the eggs a little bit, and then I'll add the vegetables to it. But you guys notice I've been eating a lot of burritos lately. I usually cook up beans and rice, and usually if I cook up, it's like, I think it's 2 cups of rice and 4 cups of water. I usually add a little bit more water to it though, that way they don't stick, and I can leave it without stirring it. Oops. Alright, eggs are pretty much done. And I'm going to just go ahead and throw the vegetables in with it. I'm not worried about mixing them up because it's all going in the burrito anyway. So, alright, eggs are done. Throw the vegetables back in. Get up a little bit more of that moist. They're still a little bit moist and wet, so the eggs will help suck up the rest of the moisture and cook off what's left. We're still on high. Vegetables and the tomatoes are dried out enough to where you can make burritos. If you don't strain off the water, it's a mess, and you just got to give the eggs a chance to cook by themselves too. I like separating them and then adding it later on. This seems to work for me better. And I think we're about ready. So we're going to turn the heat off. Just fast and easy, and rice and beans go with anything, and you can almost put anything in a burrito. So it's something simple and fast, and you can also make extra ones. Say like I made plenty. I'm not going to be able to eat all this, so I'll just make a couple extra burritos and throw them in the refrigerator for later or freezer. So, all right, we are ready. And grab a paper towel. I'm not worried about the plate, so all we got left to do is I'll rinse this off. Toast the burritos. I like to clean my spatula off so I don't get all that over the stove. So, and then I'm just trying to finish off these burritos because these are like the small ones. I already opened the pack, so just have to eat 1 or 2 more. Like I said before, it makes a huge difference just when you toast these burritos, man. It's like night and day. Same with like corn tortillas. You ever try to eat a corn tortilla raw? It's terrible. But if you fry them, man, it's kind of like trying to eat. You guys probably never tried it, but most of your corn chips and Doritos and like, you ever see those chips before they fry them? If you go to the restaurant, they actually have a bunch of tortilla chips that they fry them fresh. It's the same thing. You try to eat those things before they're fried, they're nasty. But same like a corn tortilla. If you fry it or cook it, man, it's 10 times better. It's like when you're eating a raw tortilla, man, there's no flavor, it has no texture to it. It's just kind of like eating taking a raw piece of corn, smashing it, and making dough out and eating it. It just needs to be cooked. These are sticking a little bit. I'm going to have to clean the stove off. Alright. I think I'll just do 3 burritos, and then if I need to, I'll cook those up later. Alright, I got 3 burritos here. Put this back on the heat. It's almost cooled off. Get a spoon out. maybe. Throw some beans in there first. Just 1 scoop of beans. And I'll add some egg, and these are smaller burritos, so I can't quite fit as much in there. So it'll be a little bit smaller. It's going to be hard to even roll these things. I might even just leave them like that. So these things are going to fall apart. Alright. 7:30, so I should be eating close to 8 o'clock again. So you can put the beans in there and then kind of roll it up, make room for the eggs and the vegetables. As you can see, I'm going to have a lot extra today. I'll probably have enough for 3 more burritos. So there's 2. 1 more. I'll have plenty of beans too left over for probably at least 3 burritos. I might just make something else with it, because that's a lot of burritos, a lot of beans left. Alright. Look at all that I've got left. I've got enough left for like at least one more meal. 3 burritos. I've got at least 3 or 4 burritos of beans left. Plenty of tortillas, so it looks like I'm going to have another burrito night. Alright, and then we'll throw, I got some of these little chips here. I'm going to have a little bag of Doritos with it, and what's nice about these, it kind of limits like what you eat, so you just limit yourself to 1 bag, because if I open a big bag of Doritos, man, I tear them up. So for eating these little smaller packs, even if you eat 2, it's probably a lot less than you're going to eat if you open a whole bag, because then you want to eat them because they'll get stale. This way you can, I bought these at the grocery store because I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought my daughter was going to come over. She never did, so I got to eat them up anyway. So these are great to minimize your intake of chips, because that's probably one of the worst things you can eat is chips. So anyway, this is Roger with Roger's Reviews. Bean burrito with egg, peppers, and probably going to add some cheese to it and some salsa and some hot sauce. And 1 more meal, 1 more day. Surviving. Alright, thanks for watching. If you like this video, crush the like button, and I'll try to bring you a different variation next time, promise.